My name is Garen Phillips, and today I'm going to be giving you a tool that I built pretty much the first week of getting into day trading, and I have used in every single trade I've ever taken since then. If you use this tool correctly, you should never blow up your account in a single trade. It auto-generates you the amount of shares that you need to buy based on the dollar stop loss that you're going to be using for your trades. Now, it might be a bit ironic making a video about not blowing up your account ever, about 2 weeks after uploading a video of how I blew up my first account. But if you watch that video, link right there, I didn't actually blow up the account on any one single trade. I made a total of 93 trades, and my biggest loss ever on that account was only like $53. Pretty much every trade that I took was perfectly sized in and positioned in as far as exposure goes, and I think only maybe 2 trades ever actually got over my total stop loss or risk for a single trade. Enough about that though, we'll just jump into the computer and I'll show you how this works. Alright, so this is the position sizing cheat sheet calculator. The software you see in the background is TradingView. It's a web-based charting software I'm currently experimenting with, and I'm actually in a trade right now in my paper account, up $120 on Boeing. And this trade was taken using this calculator. So let me show you what it is. Starting out, we're just going to look at this column right here. Ignore all this stuff here, but we are going to pay attention to this trades before blow up. So the way this calculator works is you tell it the size of your portfolio and the percent you want to risk per trade of that portfolio, and it will generate you a dollar amount that you're aiming for on a 1-to-1 trade, or 2-to-1 trade, or a 3-to-1 trade. On top of that, it will tell you the exact amount of shares you need to buy based on the stop losses that you're using. And that might not make any sense, but I will show you how it works visually in a second. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with a $1,000 account, just because I know a lot of people that are probably watching this have small accounts. And I always try to aim for $40 risk per trade. And each one of these has notes as well, so if you want to read through them, you can read exactly the details of it, but we aren't going to get into the nuances. I think $40 is about 5%. It's actually 4%, but we're going to factor commissions in a second. You can see that this number's changing as I change this percentage. This is basically telling you how many trades you can take before the account blows up. If you take $1,000 divided by $60, which is the risk per trade, you get 17, or you actually get 16.6, but I rounded up to 17. We're going to aim for $40 instead for this video. And this is a nice feature as well. For small accounts, commissions can start to eat you alive. These two tabs basically help factor in what your commissions would be. I trade with Tradenet, which is $1.50 per trade, and I'm currently entering and exiting twice, which is a total of 4. So when I input these numbers in here, you see that my risk per trade is down now to $34. So that's a little low, which means I need to up my percentage a little bit. So now we're at $44, which is good. And that's about 20 trades before the account blows up. Now, enough of this column. Let's minimize this and let's just focus on these. This is your dollar amount stop loss, and it will dictate to you what amount of shares you should buy when entering into a trade. And I'll show you real quick, for example. So what I have here is a 5-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, and a daily and a weekly. I'm currently in Boeing on a momentum trade, and if we maximize this chart, my entry was down here on a flag break, and I won't get into the technicals of how I entered it and all that, but the way I set the stop losses on this trade is I actually entered down here, and I basically risked below this trend. So this trend was uptrending and my EMAs were uptrending. All I did was I took a small starter here, and I held shift and clicked down, and this gives me a dollar amount, about $2 right here. So on the opening bell, I always try to size in light. If I go over to my cheat sheet calculator, down at $2, it has 22 shares. So let's say I wanted to buy here at the green line with about a $2 stop loss. What this means is, if the stock comes down and touches this red line, I will lose exactly $44. So this is how this calculator works. It will tell you the amount of shares you need to buy based on the dollar stop loss that you're using, and if the stop is hit, you will lose this much money in dollar amounts or percentage based. Oh, and if you don't know how to do this in TOS, just use the trend line tool. The trend line tool will tell you the dollar amount that a stock moves as well, instead of using shift in TradingView.
Now what this means is it can also tell you the amount of profit that you make on a 1-to-1 trade or a 2-to-1 trade. So a 1-to-1 trade, and it will be $2 in the opposite direction. So if I shift click and drag, right about here is $2, which is exactly where my average is at actually. So the blue line would be a 1-to-1 trade, and then you would just stack this every single time that the stock moves for a 2-to-1 trade or a 3-to-1 trade. Now I actually sized into this trade heavier, and my current average is right here. I currently have 24 shares left in this, and I'm going to be swinging this stock. But if I come over here and I look at 24 shares, it's between $2 and $1.75 stop loss. So I can slide this up, and to lose a 1-to-1 trade, the stock has to come down to the red line. Now I'm trading momentum, and I'm already green on the day. The stock is still running green, so I'm making more money. I'm up $123. So my strategy is just moving my stop loss up as the trend continues. Now the really nice thing about this calculator, not only does it tell you the amount of shares that you need to buy for any given stock, it pretty much ensures that you never overexpose yourself in any single trade, so you never blow up your account. I'm sure if you've studied the stock market for any amount of time, you've probably heard of people oversizing and exposing themselves too much into a trade. It goes the wrong way and they lose 20, 30, 50, 100% of their account, and they just blow up their account on a single trade. If you use this cheat sheet correctly, you will never do that. If you saw my review video of my blowing up my first account, I didn't actually blow up the account. There was no single trade that I lost a ton of money on. My biggest loss was only $50, and I made 93 trades. I was able to never overexpose myself because I used this calculator on every trade that I took. The other really nice thing about this cheat sheet is it scales with size. As your account grows every single day, so does the risk per trade, and so does the amount of shares that you're buying. So some people argue to always try to trade and make $100 a day, or $200 a day, or $500 a day, or $1,000 a day. I don't agree with that. If you understand compounding interest and compounding money, it makes no sense to always aim for $100 or $200 in a trade if your goal is to grow your account exponentially. So as this account grows, let's say we're now up to $1,500. I'm now risking $70 almost per trade. When the account's $5,000, I'm going to be risking $244, but on the flip side, a 1-to-1 trade will be $244 or almost $500 on a 2-to-1 trade. So as the account grows, you are exponentially making more and more money per trade. Now the share sizes and the amounts you buy, they don't matter to me. I don't care about how many shares I'm buying or any of that, because my calculator tells me exactly how many shares I need to be buying. There are some people that will only size in using 100 shares, then 200 shares, then 500 shares. I don't do that. It's all calculated right here for me in this calculator. Now there are a few other features in this calculator. I personally trade with a leveraged account, so I can buy these higher cap stocks that you usually can't with a cash account, especially if you have a small account. For example, BA I'm in right now at $380, which with a $1,000 account you'd only be able to buy 1 or 2 shares. So it's not really possible to trade BA with a small account. However, for those of you who are trading with a cash account or don't have any leverage, I've built in a feature that allows you to figure out if you could trade a stock. For example, let's say you were trading $1,000 and you were trading a stock that was $5. This column right here basically tells you exactly how much it's going to cost to buy this many shares. So you can see you can only buy a 25 to a 20 cent stop loss on $5 stock, which is about $800. So this basically tells you the buying power required for this many shares, which is really useful if you're trading with a cash account. Now this column over here, this is more for swing traders. This basically generates you your new stops and your new averages based on your first entry, which would be calculated over here, and then you put in your first average cost of the stock. For example, on BA my average is $377.29, and let's say I wanted to add double my amount, which I have 24 shares right now. Let's say I wanted to buy another 24 shares. But my second entry would be, let's say on this pullback at 379.79.21. This basically calculates how many shares you would buy
and what your new stop would be and your new average to stop. So this is your new stop amount. So if I doubled my exposure, I would be now at a 92-cent stop loss. My average would be moved up to 378.25, right about here. And my stop loss would be tightened now to about a 90-cent stop loss. So you can use this to, it's kind of a slower thing to do. You'll learn to do it much faster just by, in your head, using the regular calculator when you're day trading. But if you're swing trading, you can use this side of the calculator to basically size in on dips or continuations. On the flip side, it will also, you're now making one-to-one trades every 90 cents instead of $2. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Leave some comments in the description if it's a little confusing, or maybe I'll make an update video. You can download this calculator on my Discord. There's a link in the description for the Discord. I recommend everybody, when you first join, just minimize all of the categories. It makes it a little bit easier. The calculator can be downloaded under Garen's Trading, Position Sizing, and it's this download right here, version 2.2. I'm constantly messing around and tweaking and editing this calculator, so if there's a new version released, I will be putting it on the Discord server, and I'll probably be making a video over that one in the future. If nothing made sense or you're a little confused on how it all works, feel free to jump into my live stream. I stream almost every day around 8:30 in the morning. I'm actually working with Spartan Trading. He's my mentor and the guy that I'm studying right now. It's his strategy that I'm using currently on this BA trade. We're currently working out the schedule, but you will see him live some mornings doing pre-market analysis, and you'll also watch him on the opening bell, and then sometimes he'll jump in during the afternoon hours finding trades and picks. So he's a 15-year momentum trader, and on top of that, he has two 30-year traders in his community that are ex-hedge fund traders. One is actually, I think, a 40-year options trader. So there's a lot of good content on the live stream as well. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video, I guess.